Welcome to my YouTube channel, Mirror of Death. The storm rolled in from the Atlantic, swallowing the sky above the small town of Briar Hollow, Maine. Rain hammered rooftops, thunder shook windows, and lightning carved white scars through the black clouds. It was the kind of night no one wanted to be outside, and yet the entire town would remember it as the night everything changed. At exactly 11:44 p.m., the lights across Briar Hollow began to flicker. First, the street lamps dimmed, one by one, as if something unseen were walking past them. Inside homes, televisions cut to static, radios hissed, and the hum of electricity vanished. The whole town went dark. At first, people thought it was just another power outage, but this time, the lights didn't come back, ever. The next morning, emergency crews from nearby towns drove into Briar Hollow, only to find silence. No voices, no movement, no signs of life. The houses stood exactly as they had the night before. Coffee still warm in mugs, TVs frozen mid-frame, dinner plates on tables, but every person was gone. Not a single body, not even a footprint in the mud. The first to report something strange was Officer Helen Parker. She was driving through the rain, radio crackling with static, when she saw the town's main power substation up ahead. Its gates were wide open, chains broken, and the warning lights inside were pulsing weakly red. As she stepped out of her cruiser, her flashlight beam cut through the mist, and she saw it. A black shape, tall and thin, standing motionless near the transformer. For a second, it almost looked human, but when her light touched it fully, it dissolved into smoke and vanished into the rain. Helen backed up, trembling, whispering into her radio. No response, just static and a faint whisper that almost sounded like her name. By midnight, search teams from the state arrived. They combed the town street by street. Everything looked frozen in time. Phones were dead, batteries drained, and even car engines refused to start. But the strangest thing was what they found at the edge of town. Massive burn marks stretching along the ground in a perfect circle, like something had scorched the earth from above. At the center of that circle stood a single lamppost, still glowing faintly. The bulb flickered, weak and blue, though the power grid was completely offline. When a technician tried to remove the bulb, it shattered instantly, and the light from it spilled across his face like liquid fire. He screamed as his skin blistered, eyes rolling back, and collapsed dead. His body was cold before it hit the ground. Over the following days, the government sealed off Briar Hollow. They called it a chemical disaster, told nearby residents not to worry. But people in the surrounding towns began reporting strange things. Lights flickering for no reason, shadows moving against the wind, whispers in the static of radios even when unplugged. Some said that on moonless nights, you could still see faint light coming from the direction of Briar Hollow. And if you stared too long, your own lights might start to flicker too. Months later, a journalist named Ethan Cole decided to investigate. He'd grown up near Briar Hollow, and his brother had been one of the missing. He managed to slip past the barricades one foggy evening, camera in hand. As he walked through the dead town, every step echoed like it was inside a hollow shell. The air felt heavy, thick with the smell of burned ozone. His camera flickered on and off, recording brief flashes, empty streets, abandoned cars, faces in windows that vanished when he turned. He reached the church in the center of town, its front doors wide open. Inside, candles were still burning on the altar, though no one had been there for months. He whispered, "Is anyone here?" And the candles all went out at once. The air temperature dropped so fast his breath came out in clouds. Then he heard it, whispering. Not one voice, but hundreds murmuring his name over and over. Ethan stumbled backward, fumbling for his flashlight. When he turned it on, the beam caught a figure at the far end of the church. Tall, skeletal, its head tilted unnaturally. The figure stepped forward, and the light dimmed. Its eyes weren't eyes at all, just holes filled with black smoke. Ethan ran. The streets around him began to glow faintly blue, each street lamp flaring to life one by one as something invisible moved through them. He heard the hum of electricity return, but it sounded wrong, alive, like breathing through wires. He reached the edge of town where his car waited, but the headlights wouldn't turn on. The darkness pressed in like water, and in the reflection of his windshield, he saw faces, dozens of them, screaming silently behind him. The last footage found on his camera showed him turning to run back toward the town just as the lights all went out again. Authorities found his abandoned car 2 days later. The doors were open, and the metal was scorched black. His camera lay nearby, half melted, but one image remained intact, a photograph of Briar Hollow lit up in a strange blue glow, with tall, shadowy figures standing under each lamppost, all facing the camera. Today, the area is still restricted. Locals call it the dead zone. Birds don't fly over it, and no satellite captures clear images of what's left. But every year, on the anniversary of the blackout, power surges ripple through the neighboring towns. Lights flicker for exactly 1 minute and 44 seconds, the same time the lights went out forever in Briar Hollow. Some say the people who disappeared that night are still there, trapped between light and shadow, waiting for someone to switch the power back on. But others believe the town itself became something else, alive, feeding on any spark of electricity it can find. If you ever drive through Maine on a stormy night and see a road sign that says Briar Hollow, next exit, keep driving. Don't stop, don't look toward the trees, and whatever you do, don't turn your lights off. Because if you do, you might just become part of the darkness that took them all when the lights went out forever. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe to my channel.